Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Mias, and today I'm actually going to give you my ban list prediction for the ban list that everybody is obviously waiting for, which should be no sooner than March 1st. Technically doesn't mean that much in terms of like expected date. Maybe it's gonna be there in like April, June, or whatever. But to be fair, for like the past couple of ban lists, every time it said like no sooner than X date or whatever. Yeah, I mean, what can we really expect from this? What are the most annoying decks? I'm gonna say it right now. It is Virtual World, Drytron, Eldritch, and everything else, I guess you can say. Virtual World is probably the most annoying because it has VFD, and this is a card that, yeah, I mean, I don't think everybody is really down for. Drytron, on the other hand, is a completely different story because it is much newer, and also there is Drytron Mu Beta or whatever, the rank 1 XCs that they might actually have to print as a secret rare in the next set if they really want to push the product as much as they possibly can. Because of that, maybe it is a good argument to not really hit anything in the Drytron deck yet and let it survive a little. And then there's Eldritch, which the thing with Eldritch is that as long as it exists, there is kind of like no other reason to play any other control deck. You know, Eldritch is just a power creep of control decks in general, and it is way too powerful right now. So what should we actually address on this ban list? Well, for starters, I actually have VFD banned. Very fun dragon. Yeah, of course that stands for Vanisher, Fathomer, Disaster, and that's the reason why I'm actually showing these three cards on the screen and not VFD, just because if someone actually skips on the video, it's not gonna get any watch time, and I'm not going to be recommended on the YouTube algorithm, which is really bad. So yeah, please watch this video so I can actually have enough money to feed my 7 children. But yeah, anyways, VFD is actually one of the most annoying extra deck monsters at the moment, and as long as it actually exists, there's kind of no incentive to invest in new sets, buy new decks, etc., because Virtual World is always going to be that best deck. It can play through so many hand traps, which is not really healthy when you're making a board that just skips your opponent's turn and then next turn you just kill them. So because of that, because of the fact that it's super consistent, super resilient, and quite powerful, it is definitely a problem deck. A lot of people argue, oh yeah, but it's not that bad, there's also other decks that compete. Yeah, but Virtual World really does have the best conversion rate. I want to say it has such a good representation too, to be fair, but the deck is way too good if it's piloted, especially by a good player who knows what he's doing. And of course, if it is your day, well, it is your day. The deck is always there in top cut. So yeah, maybe if you ban VFD, if you don't necessarily have to ban anything else, I want to say, or hits anything else, but VFD, if you hit it for Virtual World, at least the deck becomes fair. It's not like it became completely garbage. So that's actually the point that I'm trying to get out, is that I don't think it's going to have a negative impact on the game, just a positive one if anything. Cards like VFD, Zexal, etc. should just not exist, honestly. Speaking of cards that shouldn't exist, the next one on this list is actually either RedEyes Fusion or RedEyes Dark Dragoon, and the reason why I have either one is because I am completely against the fact that people make Dragoon with RedEyes Fusion, and if you ban the RedEyes Fusion, well, at least there is no longer going to be Anaconda into Dragoon, so, you know, just 2 random generic monsters isn't going to be like making a 3000 attack targetable, indestructible monster that just destroys a bunch of monsters and negates and deals damage. It's ridiculous. This card shouldn't have that many effects in one card. I'm probably going to hurt a lot of people's feelings with that one, but the thing is, when you play Dragoon, you don't have to display as much skill as if you actually played other cards in your deck, for example, because you're adding bricks to your deck. Again, you're actually going to have more opportunities to just lose because your hand was inconsistent, or when you do win, well, you had to perform less overall actions, because all you really do is just wait until they actually use an effect that threatens Dragoon, and then you negate it, and then the opponent goes past, and then you draw for turn, use the effect to destroy 2 monsters, deal a lot of damage, attack directly, and that's just game. So you can actually win games using only one card, RedEyes Fusion, summon Dragoon, pass, and that's enough. Especially when you have floodgates on top of that, hell no. Because of that, I feel like at least one of the two should be addressed. If you ban RedEyes Fusion and keep Dragoon on the game, there are still going to be ways to summon Dragoon, just not gonna be super unhealthy. So of course, several decks could still, you know, play it. If you actually hard fuse for the card without using the materials from the deck to the graveyard, or you could actually go Muddy Mud Dragon and then synchro, well, no, actually fuse with like a Dark Dragon. I think it's a Dark Dragon for Muddy Mud Dragon, so I guess double Muddy Mud Dragon is actually already Dragoon. But the thing is, it's going to be fused with 2 effect monsters, so it's not going to have the special ability of being able to destroy monsters your opponent controls and deal damage, which I think is probably one of the most annoying things, ironically, about Dragoon. That's it for the ban section. Now I'm actually going to move on to the limited section, and I'm going to immediately start by addressing something that a lot of people people actually included in their limited list, but I'm not going to include it for two reasons. First of all, because I have a pretty valid argument, and second of all, because I really don't think it's that likely that it actually happens, because if it does happen, then you should just ask yourself, why didn't they unban that card before? And that card is Electrum. Not that Electrum, not the Elemental Hero Electrum, but you know, the other Electrum, the Link 2 for Metal Foes. And the reason why I'm actually saying that that card should not get unbanned, you know, going from 0 to 1, is actually because of the fact that honestly, it doesn't change that much for the Metal Foes deck. So it's not, from a business perspective, it's not really a good way for Konami to push the new product, which is Blazing Vortex. It wouldn't really make them win a lot of money, and if anything, it just will encourage people to play the old Pendulum decks, because think about it, the new Metal Foes support is pretty underwhelming. I mean, there is one card that's a 3 of, the level 7 guy, and then there's the Fusion spell, which is a 1 of, and I guess the Fusion monster, which is also a 1 of, and I guess the level 9 is whatever, you can play 1 if you want to, but the Link monster is basically unplayable. I'm actually going to make a combo video featuring that guy. He's not too great, he's obviously nothing compared to Electrum, it's not even close to being a debate, and Electrum for Metal Foes, I don't know, I mean, I just don't see it. I just don't see it at all. It's not that great, man. Astrograph is super broken, so if they just unlimit Electrum, it doesn't change that much. Astrograph should also come back to at least 1 copy, so when you do summon that Electrum, you get to play. And besides, the Metal Foes deck is unplayable through hand traps. It has absolutely 0 counter to Nibiru unless you draw very good, and Smoke Grenade got banned, so you can no longer Smoke Grenade your opponent when you are playing Metal Foes, because Smoke Grenade was actually broken, by the way, in Metal Foes. It was actually really sick. Again, that's no longer a possibility, so the deck just keeps getting worse and worse and worse, and it's not by adding a new wave of support that you make it good all of a sudden. Like, you could have used the unban Electrum argument back when Magician Souls was released, because Magician Souls as a support card for Metal Foes is much better than the actual Metal Foes support card for Metal Foes. I know this might sound crazy, but the thing is, Magician Souls is, I believe, a 12 of, I think, or a 9 of. There's Rescue Rabbit, Magical Abductor, Magician Souls, and Where Art Thou? So yeah, 9 to 12 cards that can actually search Magician Souls, and yeah, I mean, that's of course it's an insta-win, because you send your 2 combinations, your draw 2, and then you search 2. So yeah, you're pretty much getting 4 cards out of your deck with pretty much a trigger of 1 Spellcaster monster, and then you make Celine, and you kind of just went from there. But yeah, I mean, I really don't hope that people keep believing that the Metal Foes support is going to change anything. Again, coming from a guy with 2 regional wins and a YCS top with the deck, so I do have quite a bit of experience with the deck. A card that I would like to see getting unbanned, wouldn't really change anything, would be Blaster, Dragon Ruler of Inferno. That card sucks. It doesn't change anything to the game. It's very, very weak. Eldritch the Golden Lord has a better effect, and Blaster is just not good. It's only 1 effect per turn, and only once that turn. There is nothing unfair or overpowered about it. Tempest, Dragon Ruler of Storms is already better, and as a matter of fact, I think actually Tempest actually promotes 2 products. Armed Dragon Thunder, you know, that deck, and also the Dragoonity deck, which isn't technically a structure deck, but it's going to actually come out in, you know, sets and stuff, so that's how we're actually gonna see those cards. But no, I mean, I really can't imagine Blaster, Dragon Ruler of Inferno is staying in the banned section for so long. It's just not an overwhelming card whatsoever. So yeah. Another card that could get unbanned is Firewall Dragon. It's just not good, man. With the errata, it's no longer playable. It's actually so funny that I say Firewall Dragon is not good in a non-ironic way that people can actually, you know, agree with, because when it actually got banned, it was arguably the best card in the game. So the fact that it actually isn't that great anymore because it only supports Cyber's deck, I feel like that's completely a-okay. And that's kind of it for the cards that I want from 0 to 1. But how about the cards that were actually from, I guess, 3 that I want to 1 now? So there is definitely Scarlet Sanguine, the Elixir Trap card, and the reason why I really want that card banned is because if it gets banned, it'll actually increase the likelihood, or I guess the incentive of people to play Black Awakening instead, which I think is significantly weaker, and because of that, it's going to kind of force people to, I guess, I don't know, just have a worse deck building, which means that they have to compensate by playing better, and I think that's always like a great, you know, know, that's always a great trade-off. You know, punishing bad players but rewarding the good players. You know, if you put in more effort into playing your deck better, you get rewarded better. Maybe your Scarlet Sanguine, you gotta respect it more since you know you only have one now, whereas your Black Awakening, whatever, I mean, you can always kind of use it because instead of only playing one, you're gonna start playing three maybe. It's not gonna be that huge of an impact, and same for Cursed Outland. That's the other card that I want from 3 to 1. Again, it really wouldn't change anything because most of your games, you're not really seeing Cursed Outland anyways. It's not a searchable card because it doesn't have Elixir or Golden Land in its card's name, and because of that, I mean, you don't really need it too much. And besides, even if you only play one and it eventually goes to the graveyard, you have Barricade Borg Blocker, which can recycle it back from your graveyard to your hand during the end phase, so it's really not that bad. You see how there's always a way to kind of compensate for cards that you lose, so that's the reason why, honestly, I keep repeating myself, but punishing the people who don't really want to put in any effort into deck building is always something that's really, really positive. Alright, that's it for the limited section. Now for the cards that I want semi-limited, this one should have been semi-limited before, and it's actually Emergency Teleport. I don't know why I want Emergency Teleport semi-limited. I guess Mutant, and if they, I don't know, if they really, it's always that card that if they create a new Psychic archetype, it won't be really that great if Emergency Teleport's like at 0 or at 1 or whatever, but the more copies of Emergency Teleport you have, obviously the better the Psychic deck is going to be, and Mutant could significantly see more play if they get like 2 or 3 Emergency Teleport. Cosmo could actually start seeing play. That's a really fun deck, and we haven't seen it in a while. Hey, it would be nice to see some Cosmo support, by the way. But yeah, I mean, Emergency Teleport is not that bad, especially since, honestly, I don't think it's broken in a virtual world, and if VFD gets banned, I feel like it's definitely a great compromise. And the other card I want semi-limited is Metaverse, because I'm just kidding. I obviously don't want Metaverse to get unbanned. I literally baited you with having the card right there. But no, Metaverse would actually ruin the game completely. Also, Mystic Mine, I didn't have it on my list, but if you wanted Mystic Mine, I feel like limiting the card would be very, very fair, because it wouldn't make Terraforming, Metaverse, and all those cards unplayable all of a sudden. You can still play them and set rotation, but the thing is, if your opponent outs the Mystic Mine, then you actually have to have another win condition of your own. So you can't just shut off your brain, activate Mystic Mine, return to Monkey, and then win the game like that. So I know that's a joke that Farfa always uses, but yeah, no, seriously, Mystic Mine, if it gets limited, it would just be healthier for the game overall. I think most people can actually agree with me. A lot of people would say, oh yeah, but ban the card, but I feel like people who just say overall ban the card are people who are just butthurt usually, and they can't really build correctly in order to actually counter the card for game 2 and 3. It's fine to lose the Mystic Mine on a game 1, but on a game 2 and 3 as well? I don't know, maybe you're just deck building super recklessly, or you're just, I don't know, not playing the right deck. And now for the no longer on the list section, I have True King's Return, first of all, because it's just not over, like, who cares? Nobody cares about True King's Return. Card of Demise is still at 1, so I mean, whatever. Draconic Diagram is still at 1, and I don't want to actually unban Draconic Diagram. There's no way in hell I'm doing that. It would just, I mean, promote so much BS, because even dinosaurs could play it, because they have Lithos Agem, which is disastrous, and of course it would boost True Draco, and True King's Return isn't that great anyways. I feel like Apocalypse was always better, Heritage is so much better, True King's Return is just honestly not that good, and then of course I have Tempest Dragon and Ruler of Storms, exactly just like I said before, because of Armed Dragon Thunder, and because of Dragoonity, so having that card in the game is just, you know, it's, why not? Why not have it at 3? It's really not like Dragon Rulers would be tier 0 in 2021 anyways, so yeah. And the final card, you can kind of argue it should be in semi-limited first, and then at 3, but that archetype actually got support in Phantom Rage, so that's why I feel like the old card should actually start getting unlimited, because both of the cards that I'm actually about to talk about are limited. So that's Infernity Archfiend and Infernity Launcher. I feel like both of these cards are kind of just, I mean, the thing is, they're good. They're really good, but in a deck that isn't good enough to compete with the meta. So if anything, you're just gonna boost a fun deck that people love. By the way, Infernity has a great reputation. It won Worlds 2014 by a Montreal guy, by the way, just letting you know. Sehabi Khaireddin. He's also Algerian, just like me. Yo, what's up, man? Let's go. But yeah, no, Infernity is actually a really cool deck, but of course, it doesn't really play through a lot of hand traps really well, and you you can brick heavily if you draw too many monsters. So because of that, the deck already cannot play hand traps, meaning that it's objectively worse going second in a lot of context and in a lot of formats. And because of that, I mean, you can't really rely on the deck that well to compete with, you know, let's just say Virtual World featuring VFD and stuff. Imagine you have a hand of like 6 monsters against VFD. It's the best play you can do is set 1 monster and pass. That's a nice deck you've got there. So yeah, maybe semi-limit both of these cards, or unlimit only Archfiend and then keep Launcher at 1, and then maybe see from there how it ends up happening. But yeah, the new Infinity support didn't give an incentive to players to buy Phantom Rage a bit more. Phantom Rage only really sold because of Zeus, Torn Scales, and like other cards. Not even because of Zuiking Alpha. That's actually kind of crazy. I mean, that's all I had to say for this BANLIST prediction. If you guys have any comments or other opinions, definitely let me know in the comment section below. I'm really excited and looking forward to seeing what you think should actually get hit instead. And, you know, who knows actually, maybe I was right for the BANLIST, or maybe I was completely wrong. I am also looking forward to see that. And yeah, I mean, again, friendly reminder to like and subscribe because it motivates me a lot to keep making videos like these. And I will see you next time. Peace.